Oh, yeah. You know what time it is. It's time to get a little Fronky up in here. This is Let Me Be Fronk.
It's time to get funky. We're all getting funky. It's time for Alyssa Fronk. Alyssa Fronk.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you okay?
No, let's start over.
Okay. Hi. Alyssa here.
Jonna, it's the Fronk Sisters.
It's the Fronk Sisters on the set of Let Me Be Fronk. And we're taking you behind the scenes because we are going to make a custom craft cocktail to go along with our very special taping today, the season 1 finale of Let Me Be Fronk.
We wanted to get you guys in the Christmas spirit since we do have a holiday approaching.
We do.
And so today we're going to be making, what is this called? Today we're going to be making a spicy pomegranate margarita.
Margarita! I'm going to start by chopping the jalapeno and the lime.
Let me get the ice out for our shaker.
Yeah, that's really important. Oh, we're filming right
sorry.
now. No, it's okay. Say hi. Producer Allie on set, obviously.
What are we making?
We're making a spicy pomegranate margarita.
The ice.
So cute.
I don't think we need to go crazy.
Okay, I'm looking absolutely snorched.
Is everyone having fun watching this?
Is everyone having fun? Okay, now we're gonna cut our limes. We need the juice of 2 limes.
Okay.
Lime.
Well, no one better to do it than Juicy Fronk herself.
Is just right.
Perfect. Oh yeah, juice in that lime. Sister, get an action shot of me, Jesus Christ. I definitely have a cut on my finger because it is burning.
Yeah.
Wow. I love juicing limes.
Now we need to make sure we add these jalapenos to the shaker. Then we are gonna add our ingredients. Tequila. I never know how to say this, so Alyssa, would you like to say it?
Yes I would. I would love to. It is Contril orange liqueur.
Little simple syrup.
I can go ahead and just dump
Hold
it
on,
right.
hold on, no. Pomegranate, because I was gonna tell
Pomegranate
you
juice.
So you need 4 ounces of tequila.
Check.
Then you need a 1/4 cup of simple syrup. This is the orange liqueur. It is
Why is it
2
clear?
tablespoons.
I'm freaked out. It's literally clear.
Liquor.
Why is it not orange?
Typically clear. 3/4 cup of pomegranate.
This is gonna be my favorite part.
Oh yeah.
I love pomegranate.
Next we're gonna muddle.
Go ahead and muddle, sister. Let's get a close-up action shot of that technique. Absolutely stunning.
Honestly, this is the muddler is a little small for the muddling.
Are you calling me poor?
We're gonna give this a good old shake.
Shake, 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 shake.
Oh yeah.
Shake.
Look at that shake.
Sister, every time I try to do this, it explodes. So I'm glad you're doing it.
Have you been using soda?
Yes.
You can't use soda.
I always learned the hard way.
Okay. Then we're gonna add our garnishes.
Yes, please. I need a garnish.
So we're gonna use rosemary.
Stunning.
Because nothing says the holidays like rosemary.
I was just about to say that.
And then I think we need our own individual.
Oh, we have a lot of jalapenos in there
Well,
already.
when it's in the shaker. you don't
With all those
get
seeds?
it.
Oh, are you muddling it out?
There we go.
Okay, gorgeous.
And then I think we just need a little
Taking my breath away.
lime slice.
Okay. Sister, are you judging my utensils?
Not at all.
Here's the magic moment.
All right.
Stunning! This looks so refreshing, sister.
Okay, Allie.
Thank you guys. Oh, that is so spicy. Is it?
I think she probably got
all the. Woo! Mama's awake. Sinuses cleaned.
Okay.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. We hope you enjoy this amazing episode. Cheers to sisterhood.
Yes, let us know the little holiday drinks you'd like to make with your loved ones.
Cheers.
Hello, and welcome back to Let Me Be Fronk, a bi-weekly talk show. My sister, Alyssa Fronk, hosts in her New York City apartment. This show features some of the most interesting, great, cool, kind people my sister knows. This show is all about seeing the world through other people's lenses, expanding empathy, and keeping it very real and very Fronk. Today is in fact the finale of Let Me Be Fronk Season 1. We thought there was no other way to properly wrap up this season than to have your very own Alyssa Fronk in the hot seat today. I have the privilege and honor of swapping seats for the very first time. We are shaking things up today, hearing from Alyssa firsthand, getting into the holiday spirit, and also taking a stroll down Fronk memory lane. We have so much to yap about today, so let's dive right in. Alyssa Jean is my number one, my first friend, one of the best people I know. Sound off in the comments if you agree. I'm watching. Over 6-time ankle injury patient. Someone get this girl some vitamin D, please. But don't worry, those bad ankles can't keep her from rallying on the tennis court. She is an electric blue visionary, the middleest of the middle siblings. A pleasure to have in class since the early days. Some of her school accolades include Editor-in-Chief 2012, Best All-Around 2012, 2016 Niner Times Spirit Award, and 2016 Bachelor of Liberal Arts in Mass Media and Journalism from UNCC. Go Niners! Now in her post-grad life, she continues achieving in all areas, not only crushing goals in her former media job, sharpening her skills in personal branding accelerator, and now reaching new heights starting her very own talk show. You may think, wow, is this girl all academia? And no, she Fronkin' isn't. She is the world's best auntie, winning the recipient of Jet's First Steps. Alyssa also has a booming social life, traveling all ends of the world, busy being Grom Queen 2018 and 2024. I could go on and on about this girl, but I know the anticipation is killing you. So without further ado, let's give a Fronkalicious welcome to my sister, your host, creator, and CEO, Alyssa Fronk!
Okay, I'm clapping for my sister. That was so good.
Insert party air horn. Alyssa, welcome to your show. I'm so glad you can make time out of your day to join me in your dining room. How does it feel being interviewed?
Sister, thank you for inviting me on my own show today to be interviewed. It's always great when you don't have to take public transportation to get anywhere. So this was a leisurely day for me. Honestly, I'm just looking forward to the beautiful conversation and experience we are going to have as Fronk Sisters, added again finally in the flesh, IRL. Because yes, you have been on the show as a guest before, but that was virtual. It's not the same.
No,
I
no,
think
it's not.
the viewers, listeners, audience are in for a delicious treat today because you've put a lot of hard work into this episode. Just so you all know, this was Jonna's idea on how to conclude season 1. I was like, yep, that's what we're doing. Couldn't think of a better idea. Amazing. I want to do this. So thank you for making the time to come and travel and be here.
Sister, I would not miss schlepping through the city for anything.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
That really means a lot. But
You're
yeah,
welcome.
I'm excited and I'm just gonna brace myself for whatever happens today.
You should. Sister, I think we should cheers to that.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And sister, I also want to say thank you so much for being a huge supporter, advocate, cheerleader, sounding board, consultant for the show. I could not have done this without your support and your, como se dice, straightforward opinions, which really do help me out at times. So thank you.
Sorry, it's in my blood. It's the Capricorn in me. If you're going to ask for my opinion, I'm going to give it to you. But I'm also going to support and cheer you on.
And you're a fair person, but you keep it real with me. You keep it Fronk with me
I do.
because you are a Fronk sister
And I would expect the same from you.
and you'll get it.
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. I think we need to get you warmed up first. So let's play a game of rapid fire questions. Favorite childhood pet?
Cassie.
Best advice you've ever received?
I'm not going to be quick at this.
Okay. Current obsession?
My cat, my sister, my nephew.
Favorite holiday?
Halloween.
Biggest ick?
Oh my God. Bad hygiene.
Who's your hero?
My sister.
Your vice?
Weed.
Your inspiration?
Honestly, maybe Grandma Fronk.
That's a good one. If you could tell your younger self something, what would it be?
keep going, have more fun. Don't take things so seriously.
That's a good one. Most hilarious injury.
I don't know any of my 6 ankle injuries. Probably the time I was in college and I ran and jumped on the arm of a sofa trying to act like I was a gymnast, sticking a landing, and I fell off the armchair and injured my ankle.
Why do I think this is a common theme?
I've never claimed to be the most graceful, intelligent person in the room at all times. Sometimes I let my silliness get the best of me and it results in a physical injury.
That's why you're Alyssa Grace.
I thought it was Alyssa Jean.
You're that too.
God, I have so many names. I can't keep up.
Dream vacation.
I want to go everywhere pretty much once. I will say that. The 2 places that are immediately coming to mind, like, not to be so basic, but like, I do want to go to Hawaii, but I also feel weird about the issues with tourism there. So I'm just going to stay clear for now. And then I do want to travel Asia. Oh my God. How can I forget New Zealand and Australia? There's so many places I want to go.
There's so many places.
Yeah.
There's not enough time,
Yeah.
honestly. What is the last thing you cried about?
Oh boy.
We've all been there.
We've all been there.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah.
These boys do not deserve
And
our
honestly,
tears.
I'll say I don't know if I cried over him. It doesn't matter. Neither here or there. I'm over it.
I think you cried about your feelings.
I cried about my feelings being hurt. Does that make sense? Not about a person, but I
Yes.
cried because I didn't like how I felt.
Yeah, that's actually how feelings work.
Thank you for breaking that down.
You're so welcome. I think Faith would be proud of me.
Yeah. Faith is going to love this. She watches. Shout out Faith.
Hey, Faith. Is there a random job that you always thought would be cool to try out that's completely out of your scope and career path?
I would love to be a barista at a coffee shop.
That'd be fun.
I would love to do that.
Do you ever see the TikToks where people are pretending they're baristas and they're like,
Literally me in my own apartment
Love
every
it,
day by
love it.
myself.
if you had a rider, what's in your rider?
Smart water, dark chocolate covered almonds, maybe iced coffee, a blankie, air conditioning, makeup remover wipes, an ice roller, ice, and something good to eat that's not too unhealthy.
You definitely have kombucha too.
Oh my God, thank you. Yes, kombucha.
That was rapid fire questions. Okay, Alyssa, bring us back to where it all started. A cold, blizzarding January night. Where were you born?
Yes, sister. I was born in the middle of a blizzard. The year was 1994, January 27th, and my parents drove to Strong Memorial Hospital in Rochester, New York, because my mom had a high-risk pregnancy with me, and it was very complicated. And they at one point actually thought I was dead and wanted her to have a DNC. But it turns out I was alive, so I'm glad she got that second opinion. But I do support abortion rights if you do feel like that's what you need to do. But anyways, so I was born in Western New York. I was born the 3rd child in my family, the first to my late father, Jonathan Fronk. Shout out.
And John?
Which my sister is named after, actually. Then we lived in Western New York until I was 6 and relocated to Wilmington, North Carolina. And my mom went on to remarry and have 2 more kids. So I am one of 6. I'm the 3rd, and you're the 4th.
Yes. She is the middle sister and the middle of our sibling sandwich. So that is why she's the middlest of the middles.
I feel so special.
You should. What was your earliest childhood memory?
I don't know if I can pinpoint it to one, but I vividly remember up until about age 3.5 on, because that was when I was in and out of the hospital a lot with my heart issues, because I was born with a heart defect and I had to go to the hospital and the doctors a lot. I vividly remember my surgery and staying at the hospital.
Now, why were you in the hospital?
I was born with an atrial septal defect, which basically means there's just a hole in one of the chamber walls of your heart. Everyone has oxygenated blood and non-oxygenated blood, and they were mixing all the time, and my heart was double pumping. So you can live, but not for long. Like, eventually your heart will tire and give out. So luckily it was just a quick fix. They went in, did open heart surgery. They described it to me as putting Scotch tape on my heart, but it was human tissue, and it just fuses the walls together and seals it up. And I've been cleared and I'm fine ever since. They found out I had this condition when I was 2. And then I had my open heart surgery when I was 4, because that was the soonest I was in the clear, big enough to do it. I was an extremely small child. I was only 18 pounds when I was 2.
I was literally like the same size as her.
My baby sister was literally bigger than me. My 1-year-old nephew, Jet, is 25 pounds right now.
How do you feel about hospitals? Did you have a positive experience throughout that? It's a pretty scary thing, but you are also so young.
I have a pretty positive relationships with hospitals. I don't really remember anything too hard or traumatizing, maybe 1 or 2 instances, but in general, I felt like people were extremely kind and catered to me. The way I have never gotten more gifts than after my open heart surgery, I felt like the Queen of Sheba. My room was covered in flowers, presents. I get it. People didn't know how it was going to go or whatever, but I was showered with love, attention. I was catered hand and foot. I loved it, honestly. Some of the best times of my life.
Shout out Ronald McDonald House.
Yes, I stayed at the Ronald McDonald House, and that's why they're one of my favorite charities, and I'd love to do work with you in the future. I stayed in the Ronald McDonald House with my mother, which was a huge blessing because if you don't know, Ronald McDonald House offers places for families and patients to stay if they are traveling in from out of town. And if you need to go to a big hospital for a specialty surgery or something's going on, they put you up in this beautiful home with other families and patients staying there. The houses are so nice, free of cost. So it's a charity and it's awesome.
It is awesome. I even remember it, which is
You
crazy.
do?
I do.
I remember you visiting me.
And I remember visiting you. You always seemed in good spirits.
I was having a great time.
You never really seemed phased by it all. You were just like, oh, it's one thing. I can't be stopped. I'm going to keep going. Didn't they even catch you on the playground?
There was a famous story where, so keep in mind, my chest was split the open. I'm stapled together, literally days out from surgery. I'm in the Ronald McDonald House because, I need to stay near the hospital till the coast is clear for me to go back home. And my mom put me on the couch and she's like, Alyssa, I need to go to the bathroom. Sit on the couch, watch VeggieTales. VeggieTales was playing. I'll be right back. She goes to the bathroom. She comes out. I'm nowhere to be found. She's looking around. She's panicking. Alyssa. She looks outside. She sees me doing the monkey bars. And she said it took every fiber in her being not to scream, Alyssa, no! Because she was afraid if she did that, I would get scared and drop and fall off and hurt myself. So she had to wait for me to finish the monkey bars. I freaking did. And then she came and scooped me up and she was like, you cannot do that. So obviously I wasn't in any tremendous amount of pain. And luckily that was a condition where it didn't actually impact much of my day to day. I think my only issue was that I had a really hard time putting on weight.
Yeah.
That was like the biggest side effect.
You just knew what to watch for. You'd be like, oh, my heart's beeping. And like we would just call it beeps. And when you had beeps,
that was post surgery though.
Yeah.
One of my side effects of having open heart surgery is when they slice into you, they're cutting through skin, separating ribs, cutting through nerves. And when all of that fuses together, nerves specifically, your body is made up of an electrical current system. So sometimes when an electrical current is running through my body and it gets caught on some of the scar tissue from when it was cut, it will pause and kind of jolt. And it feels like I'm having a mini heart attack. And I've experienced this ever since my surgery up until now. It doesn't happen all the time, thankfully, but it is kind of scary because I'll be like, okay, just breathe through. And then I'll go away.
Even when I feel like my chest does that, I'm like, I'm having a beep and nobody knows.
I'm having a beep. Yeah, that's what I used to say because at one point they were scared that something else was going on. So they had a little pager and it was little sticky things on my chest to monitor my heart. And whenever I was having a beep, I would have to push the pager and freeze. I remember one time we were on the trampoline and I got a beep and I was like,
we were like, ah!
trampoline, like so seriously. But it turns out it just is a random side effect and I'm okay.
And she's been fine. She's been able to do all of the sports. She was in dance. She was in theater, soccer, tennis, piano, basketball. So she just kept going. She passed all her physical exams.
With flying colors.
You would have never known. Other than your scar. Your scar is the only thing that ever gets
And I
away.
forget I have it most of the time. And then I'll catch people looking at it and I'm like, it's my scar. You can ask me. And people are always like, I don't want to ask because I don't know what it is. And I'm like, if you see a scar down someone's chest, 99.9% of the time it's from open heart surgery. What do you think I was kidnapped and tortured and cut open? No, it's surgical, idiot. But I appreciate people's sensitivity.
Yeah.
It always just makes me giggle. There's only really one thing it could be.
Definitely. And scars are cool.
Yeah, I think it's cool. It makes me different. It makes me edgy. My only thing is, and thank you to the doctors who saved my life. Love you. But
you wish it was a plastic surgeon.
I wish maybe the incision would have been even to my chest. because I went on to grow into a womanly body.
Yeah.
And now my boobs kind of feel like a little loop, loop, loop.
Yeah. I get that completely.
I feel like it looks weird sometimes.
I think you were just at a disadvantage because you were so young.
And so skinny.
And so it just like stretches as you grow.
Yeah.
So
maybe they did make it even. I don't know.
Who
It's hard to
knows?
say, but it's not even and it kind of curves. And apparently mine is much bigger than it normally is because they took the stitches out too soon and it expanded. So that's cool
cool.
and awesome.
That seems like a significant challenge, but you overcame that gracefully and easily, not really phased by it. But is there any other challenges that you feel like you faced?
Woof.
You feel like
Listen, my life has been riddled with challenges. If there's one thing about Alyssa Fronk, she's going to be challenged by this life. Okay?
in childhood?
I would say, although I'm grateful for it now, moving from New York to North Carolina was at first hard because it was away from everything we knew, away from our family, and making new friends as a kid can be hard and was hard for me, especially going from Western New York, which is such a random place, to coastal town North Carolina, and then being enrolled into a private Christian school with a bunch of rich kids coming from a different background and culture. I struggled to make friends at first, and I'm not proud of this, but in return, I came in as a bully because I was insecure and I didn't want people to with me. So I mean, I wasn't like terrorizing people every day. I just was mean.
I honestly think you were inspired by TV. You just thought that was what you're supposed to
I
do.
was inspired by Angelica Pickles from the Rugrats because she was my icon growing up. I thought she was so funny, so hilarious, so powerful.
Truly.
And then honestly, my older sister Sarah always talked to me about being popular and cool, and people were nerdy. I mean, she obviously had really horrendous takes, but I absorbed that and I came in and was not the nicest kid at first, but then eventually got over that and made real friendships. So,
Yeah, I can attest to that. As her younger sister. Woof. But look at us now.
look at us now. Growth on my show. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah, me and this girl have come a long way.
I know we've said it before. Our mom used to be like, your sister,
Is your best friend from God.
and you guys need to be best friends. And we'd just be like,
Yeah. We were just
Yeah.
really close in age growing up. And honestly, she was just my annoying kid sister. She wanted to wear the same clothes as I did and do everything that I wanted to do. And I'm just such an independent original and Aquarius. You know, obviously I'm going to feel some type of way about that. I was just like, oh, get a new personality, Jonna. Leave me alone.
and look at me now taking over your hosting job.
You love following in my footsteps.
What is your most treasured childhood memory?
I would have to say at this point in my life, it's definitely memories we've had with grandparents.
Yeah.
So painting with Grandma Fronk in her house. My Grandma Fronk was an artist, and she would have us over for the afternoon and spread out all these huge sheets all over her big dining room table, and we would watercolor paint all day with her, and it was
Oh,
so
yeah.
much fun. And she's now deceased. Rest in peace, Grandma Fronk. She's been gone for, God, 11 years now, almost 12. I'm really glad I have those memories of her, and I remember that so fondly and specifically because that was just really special. And then going over to our Grandma Rita and Grandpa Chris's house, G-Pop, shout out, when they lived in Western New York, and they had that really great house by the lake, and our G-Pops built us a swing tied up in a tree swing, and he would push us and run underneath us and run. And he's a tall guy. We were crazy high, you know, we're like tiny girls, so he could throw us around like a potato sack, but that
We
was
loved
always the
it.
best time.
They had dial-up internet and
Ugh.
print us out coloring sheets.
We went
and
wild over there.
They would always have large boxes. We'd turn into spaceships and dollhouses.
All the grandparent memories, I feel, are some of my favorites.
We were probably with our grandparents more than anybody else because our mom was she was a single working mom at the time.
Mhm.
So our grandparents were her village. So we spent
Yeah.
a lot of our time over there so she could provide for us.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for that because we don't get to see them as much anymore. And grandparents age and change, and you know, they're not physically as apt anymore, and even mentally sometimes. So I'm just really grateful that we had a lot of time with them in more of their prime.
I am too. Being able to spend time with grandma and grandpa and actually have a male figure in our life that was solid and consistent and like grandpa could really fill that role that
Huge.
we were sometimes missing
Yeah.
or
I understand what you're saying. I've always said G Pops has been the number one most consistent man in my life. And shout out G Pops. I'm glad you're still
Love you.
around. Don't go anywhere. Big guy.
Hey, apple of our eyes.
Yeah. Apple of our eyes. Next.
Next. How do you feel like the culture of your community influenced your upbringing?
What an interesting question. I felt a lot of that influence when we moved to North Carolina, specifically the Bible Belt. Ever heard of it?
Yeah.
And we grew up in a pretty religious Christian town where church is a huge part of community there. And we were church kids from the second we arrived to the second I left, always in the church, heavily involved. My upbringing was focused around God and church and Christianity. There's good and there's not so good. I'm grateful for all the paths that have led me here. I don't know if I would necessarily do the same if I were to have a family, but I'm glad that we had that community because I've made lifelong friends. I had a lot of wonderful memories, but I do feel at times it was very limiting. And I had a skewed perception of the world that I had to break through when I left my little hometown bubble.
I could definitely see where you're coming from with that. We were heavily in church. We went multiple times a week. We went to a Christian school. That was our hobby. That was our outside activities. Like if we
Yeah.
wanted to hang out with friends, it was youth group or
Mm-hmm.
the children's stuff. So I get that.
My worldview was more limited than it needed to be. Everything was always made to be black and white. And being on the other side of that now, life is gray. Life is gray all the time. Black and white is a really harsh way to live by. And there's so many things that don't abide by Christian faith or even religion in general that are not bad. They're actually good and they're doing good for the community. And it doesn't always have to be centered around faith. And I think sometimes they kind of lose sight of what God has actually called his followers to do, which is just to show up authentically and love everyone and treat everyone the same. It's really simple, but sometimes things get carried away with like traditions and agendas and whatever.
The point that you just said is a great point. I think a lot of people sometimes get too wrapped up in the religion of it all and not in what the actual faith is saying or doing. And Jesus was called to serve and love and not judge. And
Yeah.
I think in the Bible, it points that out too with the Pharisees. And I feel like sometimes in religion, a lot of you be acting like Pharisees.
Oh. And I'll say Jesus was a mingler, y'all, and I'm a mingler too, okay? Because there was one point in time where I thought it was bad for me to not have Christian friends because I was taught like stay on track and you want to be influenced and all this. And now I'm looking back, that was kind of more brainwashy. And actually Jesus wants us out in the world talking to people, loving, ministering, being one with the people, learning about your community, learning from others. That is really where the marrow of my life has come from, is getting outside of the places I grew up in.
Definitely. A big part of your childhood has been our crazy family dynamic.
Oh, we're going there. Okay.
You are one of 6.
Yee.
We have lots of siblings,
Toss it back.
3 brothers, 2 sisters.
That's a lot of siblings, y'all, if you don't
And
know how to do math.
She's right in the middle of it. So
Right in the middle.
we have so many stories we could
So
go
many.
on and on about. You know, we have brothers running away, stealing golf carts, our little like renditions of shows we would put on. What is one of your favorite sibling stories?
Well, sister, you just said one of them, which is back in the day when we first moved to North Carolina. The first house we lived in, we had a piano room, and that was where my piano was because I grew up playing piano. A parlor, a sitting room, if you will. And this room was so specific. It was pink carpet, white walls, floral sofas. I actually think it was stunning. I loved it. And then we had this cherry red baby grand piano. It was sick. But my piano was digital and there was a karaoke feature to it. So Jonna and I put on shows all the time. Like we had microphones. We had costumes from dance classes, and we were just creative, outgoing little girls. And anyone who came over to the house, any family member, we would make them sit and watch, and we'd put on a show for them.
And honestly, thank God, because honestly, was that room going to be used otherwise?
We used the hell out of that room.
We used that room.
We respected the hell out of that room, and I wish I could go back in time and watch us do it. We
I
got it.
wish.
We got to find
We
the videotapes.
have to find those
Mom said
videos.
she taped some of it, so we will find.
We're just going to have to go take all those VHSs.
I'm stealing them all. I'm
And-
pulling a Grinch. I'm rolling up to Michelle's house, taking them all in my sack because I'm
Yeah.
going to digitize those.
I think we need to also go thrifting for a VHS.
Ooh, that'd be so fun.
Yeah, and just like put it in and watch it.
maybe we can do that for Christmas. We'll talk
Okay.
offline.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That was a full childhood and
Mhm. Mhm.
lots of ups, downs. But
Mhm.
I want to get more into your career. When did you know you wanted to be in media?
I don't know if I've ever actually told anyone this, but I started around high school. I knew I wanted to be somewhat in the media world. I was always really interested in broadcasting specifically or news anchoring, and I I was obsessed with Juliana Rancic on E! News. I was like,
You
"I
were.
wanna be the next Juliana Rancic." But then I also just started to pay attention to successful and famous people that I looked up to and thought that they had really cool careers and I would like to have something similar. And I kept seeing a commonality between these people that when they went to college, they studied communications. And I was like, that's my major. That's what I need to do. It's communications. Done, decided, I know. So then when I applied to colleges, got into UNC Charlotte, decided to go there. They had 5 communications tracks. I chose mass media. I want to do more stuff with news and just see where the wind takes me. And then I minored in journalism and English. I got some exposure to some different worlds. I joined the Niner Media Organization. Shout out. I worked on the marketing department for a little bit, and then I worked for the newspaper as the community editor, which is the person that ran all the social medias. I was only the second person to ever do that in the paper's history. That's how new social media was. And it was starting to become incorporated in news. And I kind of saw like social media was coming off as this brand new exciting thing. And I was so interested in it. And I could see all the opportunity for creative in it. And I was like, that's what I need to do. I'm going to jump on it. I want to be a social media person. I'm glad I had the foresight to do that because I got in
Yeah.
the social media world pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I've been able to bank a lot of experience. I mean, now we're at what, almost 10 years,
Yeah.
probably more than 10 years of professional social media experience at this point.
It's kind of wild to me that you say in your mind, kind of the first experience you have is high school. But to me, you have always been down this road of entertaining somehow. I just remember
Yeah.
as children putting on those shows together.
Yeah.
And we would always go to New York to go see our family every year. And my grandma had a big Christmas party, our grandma years. All the family over, it'd be so many people and people that we really didn't see that much. But Alyssa was never shy. She just like talked to everybody, acted like she had been around them year long. And then she would go and just like start performing and imitating people, and everybody would laugh their heads off.
I forgot I did that.
And then she would just feed off that energy. And so everybody was like, no, like this girl is going to be like doing something in the entertainment world. And then you ran with it. You started doing theater classes
I did.
at
I
the local
did.
Wilmington theater. Do you
Shout
remember any of the
out.
plays you did?
I don't remember the names of them, but I remember I got a lead role. It was just a skit with me and this one boy. And here was the problem. I was a shining, dazzling star in class, but then up on stage I was like so much stage fright. I was so nervous. I was so in my head about people watching me and like
Yeah.
crowds and strangers. It really took me out. So I didn't thrive there for long.
It takes time, honestly. And
Definitely.
especially as a child, you're going through these weird changes.
Yes.
You did productions with the church, the
Yeah.
school.
You're right. I have always kind of been a natural entertainer. I like bringing levity to situations. I like making people laugh,
Yeah.
especially my family. I was always trying to entertain us siblings. I was just always trying to
Definitely.
infuse fun into our
Yeah.
day-to-day life because I didn't always feel like our upbringing in childhood was the most fun at times. So I was always trying to create more fun. And in turn, I tapped into my natural skills, if you will, of like I know how to be goofy. I have decent timing.
Yeah.
I have a funny observational humor and I can be witty. So like I just hearkened that and I kept doing it.
I completely understand that. And I feel like now you kind of stepped away from the entertainment side and focused more on the news and the media and the
Yeah.
serious side. But now we're coming into this
Hybrid.
hybrid
Well,
stage.
I'm glad you say that because there was a long time where I really believed that there wasn't room for me to be silly in a workplace because no one was going to take me seriously, or I had to kind of dim down my personality and be more book smart and analytical and a go-getter and ambitious and straight to the point. And I do have those sides of me that are
Yeah.
pretty strong. I didn't think it was possible for that to exist where I can be successful and people can take me seriously and I'm also silly and funny and entertaining people and I'm also doing smart things. And it really has taken me starting the show to create a new path where that all makes sense.
Still, sometimes you get caught up in like the seriousness of it all. So I love your silly side. I'm hoping the world gets to see more of your silly side and your entertaining side.
It's just hard because I'm such a shy girl sometimes. I think my best is when I'm just IRL.
Yes.
Just existing, of course. I get in my head a lot. I'm like, I don't want to be a performative person just for the sake of being performing. I want to be authentic. But the truth is, like, my authentic side is silly and it's a little ridiculous and over the top. And I'm starting to explore that more in this format on this show. But it's taken me creating my own space to feel comfortable to do that. And keep in mind, I'm still kind of fighting with myself daily to get out of my head, get out of my own way, because anyone who has followed the show from day one, I think there's a big difference in the first few half chunk episodes versus now. And that was because I used to be so goddamn stressed out. I would be sitting here interviewing people and thinking about 12,000 things in my mind. Am I sitting okay? Is the light okay? Am I remembering to do this? Am I remembering to do that? Nonstop. And it took me up until a few months ago, after having a delicious mentee bee, where I was like, why are you spending all this time, money, all of this? This is one of your dreams and you're not even really enjoying it. And I'm not letting myself enjoy it.
Yeah.
It wasn't anyone else. It was me. I kind of had this shift in perspective. I've come full circle. And now I'm like, what a privilege that I get to do this, that I have the time and the flexibility right now in my life to experiment and try to build something from the ground up. And I get one-on-one time with some of the most special people in my life where they get to share their stories with me and they're putting it out publicly for the world. And those stories are touching people and inspiring them and educating them. Are you kidding me? What a blessing. I'm so lucky. This is such a beautiful chapter in my life. It doesn't even matter about if it is successful or whatever. I'm just glad I got to do this.
I'm so glad you're saying that, because I think we can all be our worst critics. Like, we really are. And I think we're also trained almost to always be achieving and going from goal to goal to goal, that we really forget to like sit in the moment, be living out our dreams. We need to live in that positivity.
Totally.
Look at those blessings that are happening and look at those special moments happening and not get so wrapped up in, oh, I could have done this better. Like, you can always do anything better. Like, if we couldn't, what a boring life, honestly.
And that's just kind of perfectionist mentality rearing its head. I hold extremely high standards for myself. I've been really forced and have challenged myself to be more compassionate and graceful and loving to myself, because I am my own best friend at the end of the day. And I don't want to be mean to her. Anytime where I'm running myself into the ground, I get really miserable and really burnt out. And I've already burnt out on the show, I'll say, peek behind the curtain. And I had to pivot hard because I was like, I'm not ready to give up, but what I'm doing right now is not working.
Yeah.
So it's all been really valuable and I'm glad I went through it. But I'm really, really thankful and grateful to be on the other side of this, where I'm actually just proud and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And I do really think it's making the show better.
Talking about your career in media and like this goal you've had and these dreams, we can't talk about it all without talking about the New York of it all. So what made you decide that New York is where you needed to be?
Maybe around middle school, I started fantasizing about, what if I lived in a big city one day? Because I've never lived in a big city before. And then when I got to high school, I tapped into pop culture more, and New York City has obviously always been glamorized, and I was seeing it in Gossip Girl and, like all these shows like that. Yeah. And New York City is one of the best places to work in media. It's the top of the top here. The job opportunities are pretty plentiful. It's been better, but in general, it's a lot better than Wilmington, North Carolina. And I say that with love, okay? I didn't think it was a possibility until my 20s, though.
Yeah.
So the first time I ever even came to New York City proper, I think I was 20. And I came here for a college news media conference that my school paid for. And they sent a group of us. And it was so much fun, honestly. They put us up in a nice hotel in Times Square. We were going to all these classes every day and mingling with the best of the best journo kids in college. That was so cool. I was intimidated as hell. All these kids were so freaking intelligent and driven.
Yeah.
And they were coming from huge schools, Vanderbilt and Chapel Hill, well-renowned journalism schools. I was just happy to be in the room, and I was taking what I could out of that experience. I had this distinct moment where between classes, I had a little bit of a break. I was like, I'm gonna go grab a coffee. Picture me out in Times Square, winter jacket, a little chill in the air, and I'm just like hustling and bustling, keeping up with the crowd. I'm always like, look at me. I was like, look at me, big local. And I went to a Dunkin' Donuts because I
Of
was a
course.
salute for it at that time. The Dunkin' Donuts is still there. Every time I pass by it, which isn't often, I'm not in Times Square that often, but like I get a little like glimmer in my eye because I felt connected for some reason. I walked in, I got my donut, I got my coffee, and I was just like in this queue of people. They were all running to their jobs, they're all dressed in their business attire. And I was just like, I could do this.
Yeah.
I felt this quick hustle bustle energy. Not to be so cliche, but North Carolina doesn't have that. I'd had very little experiences where I stepped into a place and I was immediately aware of the shift. I responded to that and I was just like, I want to be here. So that was 20. And then I stayed in Charlotte to finish out my degree. And then my first job was in Charlotte. After that ended, I kind of went through a little bit of a young midlife crisis. I felt very lost about what I wanted to do because I was really going through some hard stuff and I felt like a failure already at 23 years old. I felt like a failure. So I was trying to unwork that all on my own. And then I was just doing random freelance gigs to pay the bills. And then I was trying to get back on track. I was going and applying for all these full-time jobs. I'll never forget, I was a finalist for 3 different jobs. It was between me and one other candidate for 3 different jobs. I got passed up on every job. I had been job hunting for probably, I don't know, like a good 6 months. Nothing is sticking, nothing is working, nothing is landing. I'm someone who does really well in interviews.
You always got jobs.
I always got jobs.
You never really had to schlep for the job.
Maybe that's privilege, sure, but also I'm a good communicator. I have really good people skills. People kept passing on me, and keep in mind, these weren't my dream jobs by any stretch of the imagination. I just needed a really good, stable job. I needed benefits, yada, yada, yada. And after that third one turned me down, I kind of just sat back for a moment and I was like, well, I've been telling myself I want to move to New York within the next 5 years. Why am I waiting? I was like, why
Yeah.
don't I just do it now? I am trying to put down roots. I am trying to work here, and this city is not letting me. They don't want me. I was starting to feel like, oh my God, I think I've outgrown Charlotte.
Yeah, I feel like you already did everything.
I'd been there for 6 years. That's a decent amount of time. The way the city was progressing and shifting was not really aligned to my vibe or what I'm trying to do in life. So I just was like, fuck it. I'm going to move to New York. I'm going to just start getting my ducks in a row and do it. I started doing research and saving money. I flew up here a few times just to go on informational, scope out neighborhoods, and reconnect with some people I knew here just to establish some semblance of community. Is this actually somewhere where I could see myself? Because
Yeah.
I went on this one great trip here, but let's not uproot my whole life based on that one trip. I spent a week at a time, a few different times here where I was taking the subway, getting acclimated to the city. And I had a really good experience. Every time I was here, I was like, okay, everyone loves me here. People are so nice to me. They are obsessed with me. They want me to move here. No, I kept having the most random friendly reactions. I would go into a bakery and I'd be talking with the baker there, and then they'd give me a few free pastries. Or other time, I got business cards. So I was hustling too. I was going to networking events, I was going to informationals, and I got extra business cards for myself printed. And I did my order over the phone, and I was really nice to the people on the phone. Obviously, like, I'm not a mean person. I try not to be anymore, please. And then when I showed up, they printed me an extra 250 business cards. And I was like, this city loves me. I need to be here.
All the green lights.
I felt like I was getting all these signs to be like, it's going to be okay. And, a lot of people tried to talk me out of this, a lot. And I understand why, because New York it's really not a joke. I've always said New York will humble you in all the ways you least expect and that you're least prepared for.
Yeah.
Because I came in a little haughty. I was like, I got money in the bank. I did my due diligence with saving. I sold my car. I had a big chunk of money from that. I found a good apartment within my
Yeah.
budget. I had friends here. I felt really good about going in. And then everything that could go wrong went wrong.
New York is not an easy place to just uproot your life and live
No,
a leisure pace. You got to keep
No.
up with it.
it's a pressure cooker, that's for sure. And yeah, it's not a leisurely place. If you're craving that, you need to carve out your own spaces for that. Like, hello, my apartment is my place of refuge. It's my safe haven. But I've also lived here for 6 years. I've put a lot of time and invested it into the space to make it feel comfortable and relaxing. God, please allow my rent stabilized apartment to exist. But yeah, it took time to get here. It took time for me to feel comfortable in life.
when you did it was the perfect time. You needed
Yeah.
that chapter to close. You needed it to end badly because I don't think if it did that you would have done it.
That is so profound of you to say. It was an ugly ending in Charlotte for me. I'm not even trying to be cryptic. I just don't want to talk about it publicly.
Yeah.
Sister, just back me up here. It was bad.
No, it was bad and it left a bad taste in your mouth. And it was one of those situations that I also feel like you needed because there was naivety still in you.
Oh,
And you
yeah.
huge
Huge learning.
always believe the best in people, which is not a bad skill to have, but this also let you know who you work with can be sharks. Like you need to stand up for yourself. That kind of prepped you because you were so used to working for small businesses that were very intimate and family
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. So I think it almost prepped you to be like, I need to watch out for myself going into a bigger place as well.
Most of my career was small business freelance, the good first few years. And then I moved to New York and I got my first New York job at Now This, and I worked there for 3 years. And that was my first corporate job ever, which is kind of funny because now this is not exactly even the most traditional of corporate places. But it was corporate in the sense it was owned by a parent company, it had HR, yada, yada, yada. And I always told myself, like, I never want to work anywhere without an HR department ever again because I want to feel protected or I have someone to go to if something's going wrong, if I need to wave a flag. But I learned the hard way that HR is not really on your side. They're more PR for the company that they're working for. That was another hard pill for me to swallow. But again, I was very naive for a long time. And there's still things I'm figuring out and I'm naive about. You have to go through these lived experiences up close to really get it and learn and pivot.
Do you have a moment that stands out that's like the most New York thing to ever happen to you?
There's so
That just
many.
stick out to you and you're like,
There's
yep.
just like racing through my brain. Not too long ago, it was nighttime. I was walking home from dinner, walking to the subway, and a rat literally like ran at my foot and like bounced off my foot and then like ran off in the other direction. I was like, like
I'm surprised it didn't say, watch where you're going.
literally, I'm surprised I didn't beat my ass on sight. Like that has been a very New York thing.
I'm surprised you didn't talk about the bird pooping on you incident.
Oh my God, I forgot. Sister, I've been pooped on by a pigeon twice. The first time I was ever pooped on by a pigeon, it was also in Washington Square Park, where everything happens apparently. But I was with a friend and I was taking her around the city. You know, I'm only like 6 months to the city. I'm like, yeah, let's go to the park. I'll show you around. And I have my hand and my phone out like this, talking to her. All of a sudden, boop. I literally catch bird poop like it was my job. Catch. I'm screaming. People are hysterically laughing at me. I was just like, what do I do with it? And I was like, excuse me, how do I boil my skin off? Because I need to do that right now. It was so disgusting. But yeah, apparently a pigeon pooping on you is good luck.
There you go. You've been christened.
Twice. So do you think it canceled out or?
No, you're just double lucky.
Yay!
Sister, let's go to the next segment of the show, the Fronk 5.
For today's Fronk 5, in the spirit of the holidays, I wanted to challenge the audience to rethink how they're spending their monies this year. I know America is a hyper consumerist nation, right? We spend money on junk and crap and fast fashion like it's our full-time job. We are so wasteful. We're constantly caught up in this gross cycle of mass production, which is translating into pollution. We're in a full-blown climate crisis because of this mass production. I am actively scaling back and trying to be more conscious with where my dollars are going. Let me get something a little more thought-provoking.
Which I feel like that's how gifts should be. They should be thoughtful.
Yeah.
To the person. I think sometimes people just buy stuff.
It's not quantity, it's quality, y'all. Okay.
Quality.
So for this Fronk 5, I have 5 different ideas on how you can better spend your money this holiday season in gift giving to a loved one. So the first thing I'm going to recommend is that instead of buying new, you go thrifting or to a vintage store or to a secondhand store. I'm going to challenge you, go in. Do a little hunting, do a little exploring. You never know what you will find. They're truly treasure troves of stores. Not to mention that money spent there goes back into the communities directly. And it doesn't have to be that deep. You could find someone like a really beautiful picture frame or a beautiful piece of art, maybe a small piece of furniture. And you can also look on eBay for stuff that is being resold or Poshmark. I am someone who highly uses Poshmark. I sell really cute clothes, shoes, accessories. So if you want to check out my Posh store, please do that. You know, I feel really good about myself when I buy secondhand or if I find something that was gently used or even never used. Hello. Tag's still on. That happens more than you think. Love it. The next thing I'm going to recommend is instead of buying a gift card to a huge retailer chain, buy a gift card or gift certificate from a small business in your town. For example, I tell my family every year, I want a Port City Java gift card. My one true love. I love Port City Java. It is a local coffee shop chain specifically in Wilmington, North Carolina. And keep in mind, you're help sustaining a local economy. You're putting money directly into small business owners, and times are hard. Tell your family and friends, actually, I really like this local restaurant. I really like this local coffee shop. I really like this local boutique. You know, the options are endless. Next one, instead of buying something, a physical object straight up, how about you treat a loved one to an experience? My sister is a big fan of this. So, yes.
Don't get me anything.
She wants an experience, okay? You can buy tickets to a Broadway show. You know, this is for my
Yes.
New York people. Or tickets to a movie. Or maybe you just take a friend out to dinner at a local place, obviously.
I love going to concerts or even
Yes.
cooking classes.
Ah.
Me and my niece, whenever we're together, we always make cookies. You can do knitting. That is what you're going to look back on. You're going to enjoy the time you spent with these
Yeah,
people.
because it's kind of a 2-for-1 experience, right? You're getting one-on-one quality time with a loved one, and you're experiencing something cool and different from your day-to-day together. Sounds like a win to me. Next, this is a home run for almost any party of people. Bring a baked good. Bring food. Bring wine. Bring alcohol. Don't show up empty-handed, okay? I like to order boxes of Levain cookies and send them out to people for the holidays because they're local from New York. They're specific. They're one of a kind. People gobble, gobble, gooble them up. They love them, okay? I'm a huge salute for baked goods, bringing stuff to the parties, to the family's house, to friends' house with kids, especially families. If you have friends with small children, bring them something delicious to eat that is, you know, safe for the kids to eat. Like,
That the parents approve.
that the parents approve, like check the allergies, all that. Let me tell you what, my friends love when Auntie Liz walks through the door with a big thing of cookies. Just make sure it's good and high quality and locally sourced, okay? And then the final thing I'm going to recommend, you can buy someone a subscription service. Now, I'm not talking necessarily about a Hulu, HBO, Netflix. Yeah, you can do that if you're running out of ideas, sure. But again, we want to make intentional decisions with our dollars, like a coffee subscription service or a wine subscription service. And these are companies that send out samples to whoever is subscribed monthly throughout the year. I know friends who have been gifted these before and they love them. Artisanal coffee beans from all over the world once a month, you know, cute stuff like that. I mean, there's a subscription service for almost everything now. So just be creative about what your loved one likes and go from there. And then I do have one bonus. If you have someone who is adamant about being like, I do not want a gift, I don't want you spending money on me, make a donation in their name and then tell them about it. Write them a little card saying how much they mean to you, how much you love them. And then just say, hey, I donated to this cause because I know it's close to you and your heart. And I wanted to give back this season in a meaningful way. And I did it in your name and your honor. That will blow people away, okay? So those are just some ideas on how to better spend money this holiday season.
Okay, so to summarize your Fronk 5 for alternative Christmas gifts, you say thrifting,
Yes.
local gift cards,
Yes.
experiences,
Yes.
and food.
Food and alcohol, and then bonus donation in someone's name.
Okay,
So I gave you
perfect.
6 options.
Fronk 6 overachiever.
And if you do any of these, report back. I'd love to hear about them.
Yeah, let us know what you decide, but I think we're all getting tired of all these gifts. Alyssa,
Yes.
what is your Let Me Be Fronk? What do you want to be Fronk about? What gets you really
Sister,
Fronked up?
this has been near and dear to my heart for years. I'm going to look to the camera when I say this. The sodium is way too damn high. What are we doing in society? Why does everything have to be saturated in salt? We don't need that much salt. It's actually bad for our health, okay? When I look at nutrition facts and I see 680 milligrams of sodium,
Whew.
I'm throwing that box out the window because that is poison to my body. Our youngest brother, Michael, at one point had kidney failure. Relax, he's fine. Our family consciously cut back on sodium. It actually tastes better because things aren't as laden with salt and you actually get more of a flavor profile, not just like a saltiness, not just something that tastes addictive.
And we're not telling you don't season your food. Do not be encouraged
Heavens
by
no.
that. But
I would never say that. That would never come out of my mouth.
There
You
are-
better season your
There are
food.
other seasonings.
Yes, we don't need to rely on salt. Americans and America is obsessed with salt. Look at the nutrition facts. Everything has so much sodium, and I'm super sodium sensitive now. If I get too much salt, I'm sweating, I'm swelling, I feel sick to my stomach. It's bad. So I go out of my way to always buy the sodium-free options at the grocery store, and let me tell you, no one can tell a difference. No one.
And you don't even have to get sodium free. Like,
Or just like less
there's
sodium.
yeah, there's so many
But
alternatives.
if you start paying attention to this, you will be jarred. We don't need this much salt. I wish the big food conglomerates of the world would hear me. We would see a positive impact in the world. I truly believe that. So the sodium is way too damn high. Be on the lookout. Be more intentional with your salt intake. That's all.
Okay, so this is the last episode of the show, sister. You have made it a full season, and I just let's give you a round of applause.
Thanks, guys.
I want to say first and foremost, I am proud of you. You've come a long way. It is hard to start your own business. To kind of recap this year and how far the show has come, I would love for you to just answer some questions regarding the show. So let's get into the nitty gritty of it all.
Okay.
Okay. So when did you finally get the nudge that you were like, yes, I am making my own show. I am done producing other people's shows. I want my own.
At the end of my bucket list series, I did, because I got a few. My bucket list series, just to recap anyone who hasn't been here, is my series that I did during my 29th year of life. We're at the top of 29 at my birthday party. I put out a fishbowl and I asked my friends to write me bucket list items I could do for the year, dozens of wonderful ideas, but I picked ones I had specifically not done before. And something that was in there a few times was start a show, start a podcast, because people, my friends, have been telling me for years they want me to start a podcast. And I'm like, no, come on, no one wants to hear me talk about it. But then I had so much fun producing the series. I was like, what if I just took this to the next step and I did longer form content and I brought it to YouTube and I tried to build something more than just a social media specific series, because it was just like short form content. And I love that I did it. It was so fun. So it was at the end of that series, probably really January, February, where I started to mentally commit. I'm going to launch as soon as I can. And I didn't launch till, I believe, May, but I probably hardcore started working around it in March. I met Allie at the top of April. She's the first official person I consulted with on the show, and she was down from day one. So shout out Allie. Thank you.
Way to go, Allie.
Yeah, she saw the vision. She believed in it, and that also gave me a boost of confidence. I didn't know how to start a show. That's for damn sure. I didn't know, but I just was like, I'm going to figure it out.
Got to start somewhere.
Literally. I say that all the time.
What has been the most rewarding part of the show?
There's been a lot more rewarding aspects than I expected. But I will say it's the private one-on-one messages I get that I don't share because they're too personal, of people opening up to me about something they've gone through that was similar to a guest on the show, or a topic that was discussed on the show that they felt seen, heard, and validated by. And just being able to create a space where people feel safe to be vulnerable, and I get to exchange empathy and understanding and also learn from someone else. That's so unbelievably touching to me. I talk a lot, but I also really like to listen and I like to learn. And, life's hard and we all go through some really hard shit. When we can relate to others and when we feel like we have community or just someone to listen to, that makes all the difference in the world. So the fact that I've been able to share those experiences with people, that is huge, because you never know how that's going to impact people's lives. That's really, really special and really humbling.
I think humans crave that human connection, and sometimes we don't really know where to start.
Yeah.
So I think you're opening a new path and outlet for you to connect with people better, which is awesome.
I'm trying, because I never wanted this to be misconstrued as a vanity project and it be like, yeah, I know it's like Let Me Be Fronk, my last name. I wanted this to be inspiration, creativity, education. Not necessarily me always giving that, but just creating a space where that happens and where other people can come on and share what they have to share.
When you make your own business and your own show, I think you deserve the right to put your name on it. And
yeah, period.
that's okay.
And it's catchy and people chuckle every time they hear it.
Exactly.
And I'm the most consistent thing of the show because I host it. But yeah, I wanted this to actually have meaning and purpose.
What has been the most surprising part of the show for you?
How long it takes everything to come together, especially editing. Editing takes so so much more time than I thought it did. Shout
Yeah.
out to Ben, Emily, and Allie who've all helped me edit.
Way to go, Ben, Emily, and Allie.
Yes. This is just an hour-long episode most of the time, but you would not.
Is it?
Shut up. I'm a yapper. We're talking like 20 hours of work between a few people. That was very jarring for me. I thought it was going to
Yeah.
be quicker.
I think you thought you would be able to whip out editing so much faster.
Yeah, and I can whip out a social edit, don't get it twisted. but
Completely different.
Social,
Yeah.
1 minute versus an hour. Yeah, night and day difference. Obviously. Another thing, the whole troubleshooting, trial and error, and finding out what works for your show. We went through 3 sets of cameras trying to find out
Yeah.
what worked. 2 different sets of microphones. The whole season 1, Allie and I have been through it trying to find the right equipment and the stuff to make this a high level production. I wanted people to be like, oh, she's taking this seriously. This looks good. It was really important for me for this to look good. And room for improvement, things coming season 2, but I'm pretty proud of what we've been able to do. But I will say that is a thing people don't normally talk about when starting something.
What has been your favorite moment of the show? You've had so many good ones.
I've had a lot of good ones. I mean, I love my sister being here and hosting. I mean, that is just so special. I've always said I wish Jonna had more time to just be a regular correspondent component on the show.
I wish I could too, but I feel
Yeah.
like it just gets lost when I'm zooming in.
No, it's harder. And I think the audience will definitely feel the magic today.
Yeah, let us know.
Honestly, just sitting here talking with my friends. And then after, when the cameras are off, us just cutting up after. I've had some really super chill smoke sessions after this. I'm not going to lie to you. And those have been fun.
What can we expect to see from the future of the show?
If all things go according to plan, I do plan on changing the format of the show. And that's all I will say for now.
I'm excited.
But we're going to mix it up. I've had some requests to bring in more elements of action. I think I came up with a solution. So the format is going to be different. I'm going to just take everything up a notch in all departments that I can.
Sounds very Fronk of you.
Yeah, it will definitely be a difference. You'll see it, you'll hear it, you'll feel it.
I'm excited. I
Yeah.
don't even know. I don't even know, guys.
She doesn't know. I haven't even told her.
Are there any other projects, goals, or endeavors you're going to take on in the new year?
Right now, I'm just trying to work on this show, which is my number 1 priority. And I'd say my number 2 priority is my fitness, LOL. I'm trying to get more serious about that and go to the gym a lot more. And I've been doing a good job. I've been 3 times this week. Thank you. Thank you. Huge for me. I am going to take a little bit of a break in the new year. I'm going to do some more home projects, some interior design projects I've been putting off and take this space to the next level.
That sounds really fun. And I think you need that time to yourself
Yes.
as well. You need a little break. The show probably needs a little break. And
I need to exercise creative muscles in a different way that don't have anything to do with the show. And I think
it'll only
my
add to
design
the show.
projects, exactly. I think my design projects will do that deliciously.
I can't wait to see it. Every time I come back to your place, something's strange. Something's different.
I know, that was a cool, her and John Mark and Jetty came in earlier and they were like, wow, it looks so different. And that was cool because I was like, oh yeah.
Well, sister, thank you so much for letting me steal your mic for a day, yap your ear off. And
What did you think? Did you have fun?
I had fun. I mean, I enjoy this kind of stuff.
Yeah?
I don't get to do this stuff anymore.
Right.
So thank you for trusting me.
Thank you so much for sister. You did an amazing job hosting. Everyone give it up for Jonna in the comments and on the set. Yay!
Also,
Bring her back.
I know I'm not the official host, but I do want to know, what do you guys want to see from Alyssa's show?
Maybe you like what you see, and if that is true, let me know. I can't believe I'm already wrapping up my first season of Let Me Be Fronk, but here we are, 15 episodes in the bank. Wow. I feel really proud and grateful and excited for what's to come. Even if, for God forbid, I was not able to do this again after this episode, I would be really happy about what I did make. But I do plan on bringing this back in the New Year's. Season 2 of Let Me Be Fronk is coming at you spring 2025, okay? I don't want to sound like a broken record because I do say that pretty much every week, but I really do mean it. Thank you for anyone who's ever taken a moment, a second to listen, watch, like, share, subscribe, tell someone to do the same. I can't do this without support. I really can't. So just know that I really appreciate it and I hope it doesn't stop. And I hope this show continues to grow and that everyone continues to like it and likes me. And I hope I get hotter and cooler and funnier and have even more amazing, cool guests on and make more amazing memories. Also, thank you to every single person who's helped me make this happen. My producer, Allie, my video editors, Ben and Emily, Ryan Selfie for graphics, Brianna Balducci for the photography, Billy Libby for the show music, okay, Riley, Nicole, Meek, Tibbs for some of the graphic design work, Mooney, love of my life. She didn't want to stop by for the season finale. That's okay. She'll be back in season 2. I want to thank her for being the mascot and co-host of the show. Anna, Uncle Nat, Sarah. So many people have helped me and it really means a lot. So thank you. Thank you. And thank you to all my guests this season. Love each and every one of you. Mwah, 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 mwah.
And if you want to be a guest on Alyssa's show,
Let me know.
let her know.
We'll talk. If you want to be on the show, if you want to connect, if you want to share thoughts, opinions, anything, ideas, send an email to letmebefronk@gmail.com. Again, I'm your host, Alyssa Fronk. My handle is Alyssa Fronk. You can connect with Let Me Be Fronk at Let Me Be Fronk Show on Instagram. Let Me Be Fronk TikTok. I will get the TikTok up and running eventually. We're on YouTube. Let Me Be Fronk. Sister, where can people connect with you?
On Instagram, I am Parma, Parma, Jonna, Jonna. I do have a TikTok, same handle. I don't really post that much. I actually attempted to make one. Coming here, and then I got busy, so halfway through the day I stopped.
Were you gonna do one
filming.
about like busy,
Like a day
doing
in the
a work
life
meeting?
traveling to
Oh,
New York.
cool. This has been so fun. Thanks for being a little frunky with me, and I'll see you in the new year, okay? Happy holidays. Stay safe. Spend your
Bye-bye.
dollars wisely.
Bye bye.
And that's all for now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Do your waves.
Bye bye.